corrupt politicians using encrypted apps to hide their schemes and then turning around and blaming President Trump when they got caught.
Mr. Chairman, and thank you for inviting me to testify today.
When Mayor Mike Johnston testified before a congressional committee this month about immigration issues in Denver.
So if Denver can find a way to put aside our ideological differences long enough to manage a crisis we didn't choose or create.
There's something these congressional representatives didn't know.
It is deeply offensive to me.
CBS has learned Johnston and his administration had been using Signal, an encrypted messaging app, to communicate amongst themselves about immigration issues, and initially had set the app up to automatically delete their conversations.
It's unlawful, and it's breaking the law, and it deprives us of the rights we have as Coloradans to observe the conduct of public business.
Steven Zansberg, a Denver attorney specializing in First Amendment issues, reviewed what our investigation uncovered. Through open records requests, we obtained these text messages the mayor's director of strategic initiatives, Joshua Posner, sent on January 15th to multiple members of the mayor's administration, telling all of them the same thing. We're going to use Signal to communicate with Strikeforce so that communication remains encrypted and secure and messages auto-delete, wrote Posner. Please let me know once you have it downloaded so I can add you to the group. The Denver Strikeforce group messaging on Signal consisted of the mayor, his chief of staff, deputy chief of staff, and a dozen other appointees, including the city attorney, according to the mayor's office.
Pretty clear and unequivocal evidence that this was a deliberate, intentional effort to evade transparency by using self-deleting ephemeral messaging apps.
Zansberg believes what was done may have violated city data retention policies, suggesting these kinds of records are to be kept for 3 years. Strikeforce was the name given to the mayor's leadership group that was dealing with Denver's immigration crisis, a crisis that attracted the attention of this conservative legal group affiliated with the Trump administration, which sent this harshly worded letter to Johnston in late December, demanding information and internal communications on how city officials were responding to immigration issues. A spokesman for the mayor now conceding the Trump pressure is why they opted for encrypted auto-delete messaging. When President Trump took office in January, it was clear that there would be rapidly developing changes to the way the federal government interacts with cities that could have significant impacts on how Denver operates, said the spokesperson.
Concealing, hiding, I think that's what it's doing.
Jeff Roberts with Colorado's Freedom of Information Coalition says what we found undermines the spirit of Colorado's open records law, which allows the public to view public records.
The public needs to be informed about that story.
In another text conversation, the mayor's chief of staff, Jen Ritter, is asked, "Are you on Signal? Mind if we shift there?" "Yes, switch there," responds Ritter.
Giving the impression that we're doing something that we don't want the public to see.
Across the country, government leaders have been heavily criticized for using encryption apps to discuss public policy issues. Michigan even passed a law forbidding state employees from using apps like Signal that make messages disappear. And as recently as December, Denver's chief information security officer emailed the mayor's office, telling them apps like Signal were for personal use only. Please avoid using these applications for city work, wrote the city's top tech expert. The mayor and his office refused to be interviewed for this report. Instead, they provided a written statement saying the particular group was started in January for internal staff to easily keep track of and share information regarding federal actions that impact Denver under the new administration. The purpose of the group is solely for information sharing, not actionable directive, said the statement. The city says 2 weeks after the Strikeforce group was created, the administrator turned off Signal's auto-delete function. A spokesperson for the mayoral administration disputes that they violated any data retention policies. And Karen and Michael, Denver Police Chief Ron Thomas and Manager Safety Armando Saldate were also invited and asked to be part of this Signal group.
Good morning, Mr.